Hello aspirants, welcome to Lokayan IAS Academy. My name is Praveen Akkanur and we have formulated a series of PYQs for you, and I am going to take the questions from CSAT paper. So we just have 10 days, and effectively in these 10 days we are not, it is very difficult to cover all the syllabus. So we have found a midway and we have chapter wise classified the questions, and let's start with the first chapter, right? So our first chapter is basic number system. So basic number system, and along with that I am going to cover few other chapters also. Like, see, UPSC CSAT paper consists of 3 sections, as you know, that is comprehension, quantitative aptitude, and reasoning, logical reasoning, right? And in 2022 question paper, there were around 27 questions asked on comprehension, around 37 questions were asked from quantitative aptitude, and as much as 16 questions were from reasoning. So this classification is going to help you to decide which section is more important, and according to your strength you have to focus on that section. So in quantitative aptitude, as you can see, there were most questions were from this section, around 37, and in those 37 questions, around 13 to 14 questions, around 13 to 14 questions were from basic mathematics. Now, what do we mean by basic mathematics, right? So, basic mathematics consists of those chapters which we have learned in our primary and medium school, right? So, those chapters are number system, test of divisibility, again HCF LCM, again linear equations, then surds and indices, right? Which are some more chapters: Bodmas rule, chain rule, order of magnitude, use of x, linear equation, quadratic equation, right? So all these chapters we have learned in our primary school or medium school, right? So today we are going to look at few questions that were asked in last 4-5 years in the UPSC CSAT paper. So number system. So what we have learned from number system? How many types of numbers are there? We have learned there are natural numbers, whole numbers, prime numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers, imaginary numbers. There are multiple types of numbers that we have learned, right? Then there are even numbers, odd numbers, prime numbers, composite numbers. So you must know the concepts of all these numbers, right? What is meant by natural numbers? So natural numbers start from 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n. These are natural numbers, right? So if you add 0 to natural numbers, that series becomes whole numbers. And integer is what? Integer means if you add all the negative numbers, so that is a series of integers. So these basic concepts you must know, because there are multiple questions where the questions are so basic that you have to know the meaning of what is integer and what is the difference between integer and whole number, right? So let's check few examples. Along with number system, I have written tests of divisibility. That also we have learned in our 6th, 7th or 8th class. Test of divisibility for 2, 3, 5, 4, 6 and all, right? So you have to go through that because at least 1 or 2 questions are going to be on test of divisibility also. So next, just without any further introduction, we'll start with the questions. Now these questions are from 2018 to 2022 CSAT papers. So pay attention because as I said earlier, time is so less that if you go through all these questions and if you go through this series, because this is just the first video of our series, there are going to be many more videos on each and every chapter, right? So just stay tuned and practice as much as you can in these 10 days. So integers, let's check the question. Integers are listed from 700 to 1000. Integers are listed from 700 to 1000. In how many integers is the sum of the digits 10? What do you want? Sum of the digits must be 10 and integers must be between 700 to 1000. Now these are the types of questions which UPSC like very much, right? So whenever such question arises, just look at the options. Options are 6, 7, 8 and 9. That means these options tell you that this problem can be solved manually. Because if the option would have been a bigger one, then that would have been a problem. But 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers we can calculate manually. So just look at the question, 700 to 1000, right? We want the sum of the digits to be 10. So tell me the first number which gives me the sum of the digits as 10. So that first number will be 703. Because 7 plus 0 plus 3 is going to give me sum as 10. Next number will be 712. Next number will be 721. Next number 730. So 700, in the range of 700 to 800, we got these 4 numbers. That is 703, 712, 721 and 730. In the range of 800, we can get 802, then 811 and then 820. 802, 811 and 820. And in the range of 900, we can get 901 and 910. Just check whether the sum of all the digits is 10 or not. So 4 numbers, 4 plus 3, 7 numbers and 7 plus 2, 9 numbers. So answer is going to be 9. That is option number D. The number 379812P369 is divisible by 7. What is the value of the digit P? What is the value of the digit P? Now if this number is divisible by 7, so there must be some value that this P carries, right? So there is a test of divisibility for 7, but again look at the question and look at the option. We have to divide this number by 7, right? So that we can do it manually without using the test, because test is going to make it little complicated. Because what is the test for 7? That is making groups of 3 digits and then adding the alternate groups and then subtracting the sum. So it is going to be little complicated. Instead of that, just divide this number with 7 until that digit P. So if I am dividing it with 7, so 7 5s are 35, 7 4s are 28, 7 2s are 14, 4 is the carry, 41, 7 5s are 35, 6 is the carry, 7 6 are 56, so 6 is the carry, 7 9s are 63. So see here carry is 2. So remaining number becomes 2p369. Now I do not need to divide this number every time. I just need to divide only this part. Now when I put 1 instead of p, this number becomes, and then I'll divide it with 7. Let's check whether it is divisible or not. 7 3s are 21, 0, 7 5s are 35, 1 is the carry, it becomes 19, so it is not divisible. Then if I replace p with 6, 2 6 3 6 9, and if I divide it by 7, so it becomes 7 3s are 21, 3 is the carry, 7 4s are 7 3s are 21, 4 is the carry, 7 3s are 21, 2 6 3 6 9 divided by 7, 7 3s are 21, 5 is the carry, it becomes 53, 7 7s are 49, 4 is the carry, 7 6 are 42, 4 is the carry, 7 7s are 14. So now this number became entirely divisible by 7 when I replace p with 6. So answer will be option number B. You do not need to put value for p every time and divide the number entirely. You just divide it first until the letter p and see what carry comes before p. So just divide that number by replacing the value of p. So for value of 6, it became divisible. So option number B is correct. Now see, consider the question and two statements given below. Question: is x an integer? And two questions are given. Statement 1 says x by 3 is not an integer. And statement 2 says 3x is an integer. So now this is a question from data sufficiency. What is data sufficiency? You are given two statements and then one question is asked based on those statements, and you are asked to solve or asked to tell whether these two statements are enough to solve the question individually or cumulatively, or they are not sufficient at all. So let's check. We have to find if is x an integer. Statement 1 says x by 3 is not an integer, right? Now see, if I take x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 1 by 3. So that means I am considering x as integer once and x is not an integer once. So at that time x by 3 becomes 1 by 3. So it is not an integer. And here x by 3 becomes 1 by 9. Here also x by 3 is not an integer. So x by 3 being not non-integer doesn't give me whether x is integer or not, because in both the cases this statement became true, whether x is integer or x is non-integer. In both cases x by 3 became a non-integer. So first statement is not enough to tell me whether x is an integer or not. Statement 2 says 3x is an integer. Now for same values let's check. If x is 1, then 3x becomes 3. If x is 1, 3x becomes 1. So for both the values 3x became integer. That means this second statement became correct irrespective of x being an integer or non-integer. So again second statement also doesn't tell me whether x is an integer or not. So in both the cases the both statements are not sufficient to answer this question. So option number D is correct.